Blake Gibbons here from RunDiffusion. I just wanted to take you through a new template we had, board workflow that we had built out on our website. You can find it in our homepage. It's one of our featured templates for interior design staging or virtual staging of an interior space. This is a really great template for commercial or residential interior designers if you're wanting to take different patterns or textures or mood board ideas or styles or specific pieces of furniture and you're wanting to place them in a space to get an idea of what they might look like with your clients. This is a really great workflow that you can use on our AI platform to do just that. For realtors that are looking to be able to put a new home on the market or rent out a space, it's a really great way to be able to take specific furniture and place it in a living room or a house and a bathroom area. You can use AI to put specific furniture in specific places, make it look really polished, photorealistic, nice, without actually having to hire a virtual staging company. Works really great to be able to do that really, really quickly and at pretty low cost. And so jumping right in, the way to access the template again would be on our homepage. You'll see it as a featured template. It's called Interior Design Staging and Material Selection. And if you look into the preview of this board, again, just going over the description, kind of who it's for, it really helps designers to really isolate, modify, if you look in the description here, specific areas of an image, such as flooring or countertops or furniture, or facade panels, textures, walls, if you're wanting to put artwork in a space, really without altering the surrounding geometry or like lighting or composition of that space. However, you can actually change lighting if you want to. So if you want to see maybe how floors would look during morning, midday, and evening, that's something that's really great that this model can do for you really, really well. And so let me kind of just dive right in. As you're building out a template in RunDiffusion, this particular template, you can see all the tools that I have here in this workflow. Right here, I have these 6 specific tools. So this is an image generation tool. This is an editing tool. I have an upscaling tool that works really, really well. And then 3 different video tools. And the reason I had 3 video tools is because I wanted to take a similar prompt across all 3 different video tools and try all 3 of them for comparison. And that's what's really great on our platform is you have essentially one license for all the different AI tools that are best in class on the market. All those are available to you under one license for commercial use in a single application, rather than having multiple apps you have to manage and multiple licenses. And so as you jump right in here, all these different models as well, everything is containerized by the model. So you can see all your iterations as you're going through your workflow of changes you want to make. So if you get down in a certain direction and you want to pivot and go back, you can kind of see where you've been to give you a good idea of maybe where you want to go as you complete the workflow. And so you can see all the different generations are kind of stored within the different containers of the tools themselves. And so each tool that you have within a workflow, whatever tool you have selected, and it highlights in purple here, that's the drawer of menu options that opens to the right-hand side that's available to you for that tool. So if I select Flux 2 Pro here, it's going to open up this. If I select a video model or an upscaler here, it's going to open up the menu options for that tool here. And you can see that it's the one that's selected. So if I scroll back up to the top, I just, again, this is an image generation model that we have on our platform. There's dozens of them. I happen to like Flux 2 Pro, but you could use a different model here. If you wanted to use Zscaler, it's another popular one. If you wanted to use Cdream 4.5 from ByteDance, it's a fantastic model as well. All the different Flux 2 models from Black Forest Labs are really, really fast. They're really good models. I happen to like Flux 2 Pro from Black Forest Labs because it has just really good photorealistic detail. It has really good contrast and really crisp detail to be able to provide photorealistic images. And so in this particular example, what I initially started off with was I wanted to just change the aspect ratio of kind of my basis image. So I had this base image of this sort of high-end luxury penthouse suite apartment for this high-rise living space. And the original image I had was a 9:16, and I just wanted to change that into a square. And so and my prompt is really simple. I just said change nothing about the image, and I got a square image instead of having the longer 9:16. And in this one, I'm kind of doing the same thing where I wanted to change the aspect ratio of this image just a little bit. And in this one, I'm basically just, I think I'm improving the resolution on this one, but not making really any changes about the image, just changing some of the resolution. And then I had this one be more of a 9:16, just different size. If you look at the options on the right-hand side, you have options to be able to upload up to 9 reference images. So if you had 9 images that you wanted to upload and then use those all as reference images to be able to generate something new in addition to a prompt, you can do that. If I want to select images from my library of all the past projects I've maybe done or my team has done, I can do that. If I want to select images from the left, I can select images from the left. And you can see there, they're starting to populate in this tool. Or you can also just drag them over. So if I wanted to basically just drag images over, I can do that like that as well. To be able to write a prompt, some people know how to prompt different image models. Some people are a little bit newer to it. You could get a prompt off a ChatGPT image or ChatGPT if that's something you're familiar with, or Claude. If you need help writing a prompt, we have tools for that as well. So I could write, luxury apartment, living space. And if I wanted to have our product actually enhance that with a large language model, so this is Gemini kind of in the background from Google, it's taking what I wrote here and adding some additional expressive detail to make it a more rich prompt to generate a new image. And you could inject that here as well. So it'll generate a couple different examples, and then I can click on a button to be able to push that over and use it here, and I could edit that as I wish. Let's say you also had an image that you wanted to get a prompt from. So if you had a really nice image and you're wanting to generate something new, but get a prompt that describes that image, you could upload that image here and get a prompt from an image too. So what I'm doing in this Flux 2 Pro model is I'm basically just using this to generate a bunch of different pieces of furniture, some window shadings, some different styles of flooring, a rug. I have some artwork here. You can see my prompt where I just generated some art. Here's another one. I wanted to just get a picture light that I can put above my picture in my space. I have an area rug that I kind of liked. I could generate a bunch of these, or again, I could upload one of my own products if I want to do that as well. This one happens to be AI generated. And then I also created a mood board, so you can kind of see my prompt here. It's got a bunch of different elements here, from sort of ambient lighting, some brass finishes, it looks like, and different textures, flooring examples, and sort of a reference picture here with some of those things in it here as well. I'll show you how to use that in a second, combined with our image that we're wanting to change. So I have this kind of space, and I'm wanting to dress it up a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that. So once I have all my images here up in this space, then I can go down to this tool and make some editing tool to make some changes. And so the way to do that is, first off, I'll just say that one of the first things I did was I took my reference image here and I drug it down into this tool. So now this tool is activated, and I have this drawer menu options open now with this tool, and I can drag a reference image here, and I can put a prompt here to make changes to that. Actually, in this example, usually you're starting from a sketch and you're going to a photorealistic render, but you can go the other direction as well. So I'm just basically asking the AI to change the image to a messy pencil sketch drawing, and you can see the change here. And then my next iteration, I wanted to change it to a watercolor. And you can see here where I can compare that to sort of watercolor. If I want to see what it might look like in an ink sketch drawing, you can see that. So you can do a lot of different stylization, which is kind of neat with the platform as well, to make editing changes to an image. Or if I wanted to take any of these sketches, if you had sketched out something for a space and you wanted to upload it in our platform and then convert it to something photorealistic, so going the other way, taking a sketch and going to something like this, you can do that really easily too within the platform. So here's where things get really, really interesting, where you can start to make combined changes with different images. So in the next example here, what I wanted to do is take my reference image, and I wanted to also take my shading image here of the light window shadings that I have, and I can actually combine these images with a prompt. And you can see here in this particular model, I can use up to 14 reference images to combine and edit or mash up together. And you can see in my prompt here, what I'm doing is basically taking my reference image, which you can see here that I generated above, of my window shades. And you can see my image here that I have without the window shades. And I'm basically wanting to take the window shades and put them into the space for these floor to ceiling windows in this apartment living space. And so I'm saying, take the shades of the reference image and place them in the windows of the living room image, change nothing else about the living room image, And here I have them. If I wanted to do another iterative prompt to have them kind of be pulled down the same length, I kind of liked them where they were, just a little bit staggered. But if I wanted these all to be level, I could do that, or I could have them all pulled down as well with the prompt. So moving on next, the next thing I wanted to do is change the flooring just a little bit. And so I'm taking my reference image here from my mood board. I have my flooring sample here, and I'm wanting to apply it into the apartment area on the floor in sort of a herringbone style pattern. It did do a herringbone style pattern, but I noticed it retained some of the darker elements of the wood flooring that was there before. And so I kind of want to take that out. So what I did to be able to get this image, again, I just updated this new image. Now I have my shades in it, and then I updated, and then I used my mood board and combined them. That's how I got this new image here. And now what I'm doing is taking this new image, and I'm going to feed this in here, grab my mood board image again, and make an additional change to make that flooring a little bit wider. And so you can see here, that's what I've done is I actually am adding this word lighten the floors in the apartment space a little bit to match the color of the wood floor planks in the mood board image. And you can see that I've done that here, where here's my mood board image. It's pretty light. And you can see here, here is my comparison image, where here's the flooring, and I've lightened it up a bit. And I like that sort of light color a little bit more, sort of beachy sort of feel. Now that I have that put together, I want to make some changes with ambient lighting in the room. And this is really, really cool on our platform, where you can take these editing models actually have an element of a large language model on top of them. So you can actually write text or annotations or mask out certain areas and then reference that in your prompt. So you can see here where I've taken my mood board again, but I've actually circled this ambient lighting in green to make it a little bit easier to prompt. And then I'm in my image that I'm wanting to change, I'm actually highlighting this in red, and I can reference this in my prompt because I want to put that ambient lighting from my mood board image up in that ceiling area. And you can see here, it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. The AI, largely the AI model that I'm using to make these edits it knows well enough what I'm trying to do here. And so my prompt is follow and remove. I'm actually asking it to remove the annotations, so I want them taken out after it makes the change. But I want to add accent lighting as shown in the green areas for my reference image, which you saw I outloaded those in green. And then I'm basically saying put those in the red area, that lighting in the red area in this image. And this is the result of what you get. And here's kind of an image where you could see it before. So no lighting before. Now I have the lighting, sort of ambient lighting that I have in my new image. And the way to annotate is really simple on our platform. You just basically click this button here, and then you can click on any of your reference images, and then you can just draw on them. This is in white. If I wanted to change the color, I could change the color and highlight something if I wanted to. If I want to add text, lighten this wood area or something like that, you can add text in there as well. And then once you have that, you can click submit, and it will save that, and then you would go ahead and reference those annotations in your prompt. So now that I have my lighting, the only thing I want to change here in this image is add some can lights into the room to just kind of brighten it up. And so you can see that I've added those. So I'm bringing this image back into my model, and then I'm making a new prompt, adding my lighting. Now, in this image, I want to be able to place the area rug. And so you can see here, here's the area rug that I generated from my model above. Or if you had a specific rug that you were wanting to put in a space, you could upload that image of that product and do that the same way. And then you can see in my reference image, in my image now, when I do the comparison, it's kind of putting the rug based on my prompt. Oops, let me grab my comparison image. And it's grabbing the rug and putting it kind of underneath the coffee table here and the couch, like I've asked. Now, the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to put a throw blanket on the couch. And I actually like this one with this chase piece of furniture that I had. So I just wanted to change the blanket to have a slight blue color. Everything is sort of tan, neutral tones in this example image that I have. And so I wanted something with just a little bit of color. So I added this sort of very light blue throw blanket in the picture. And what I'm doing here is referencing the throw blanket here. And I want this put on the couch right here. And I'm kind of referencing that with a masked area that I've colored off here, where I'm asking you to put that throw blanket. And so then in my final image, you get something like this, where I'm actually adding that blanket. And then here's another area where I'm using, I didn't love the, I don't have a specific product image. This looks a little bit like a burlap sack, but it looks okay. I like sort of the look of the fibers on this window covering. But what I'm doing in this example is I'm wanting to see kind of what a highlighted view in this box would look like. So give me a very detailed view of sort of these shades. And then I get something like this. And then I did the same thing with the sort of the coffee table here that's marble. I wanted to see sort of a very close-up view of that. And you can see it even has sort of the fruit in there. It kind of pulled that in here with the books. I noticed there's some imperfections here. I didn't clean those up, but I could actually annotate those and say make those smooth, and it would actually clean those up just fine. Same thing with up here. The other thing that I did here was change the lighting. Now that I have everything kind of put together, actually I think I changed the picture first. You can see here I'm actually changing the picture. So I wanted to get rid of this picture here and add something like this, just to add a little bit more color. And now I'm going in and I'm wanting to change lighting. Now that I have my furniture all put together, what does it look like sort of at dusk? What does it look like early morning? Kind of changing the lighting. What does it look like at night? You kind of see that. And then once I have sort of everything staged how I want, then I can upscale things to give it a little bit more texture. And it works the same way. Any of the images that I have in this sort of storyboard that I want to upscale, I would just drag down into this new tool that I have activated. The things that I changed in this upscaler are, of course, upscale factor. You can make the image really huge, like 10,000 by 10,000 pixels. I usually don't change anything in this drop-down menu. I usually just keep it standard and have it do this on its own for me. I usually keep no prompt in here as well. And then for the optionality here, I usually leave HDR and resemblance just neutral, 0. Most of the time I'll bring fractality and creativity up just a little bit because I want it to not only upscale the images, but I want it to kind of creatively enhance detail with shadows or textures. And it does a really good job with that. And I'll show you kind of an example with a slider. So here's this upscaled image. You can see there's a lot more texture in the blinds area, definitely on the picture with the tree here, a lot more detail sort of in the granite and in the flooring, a little bit more like wood knots here. And again, I can take that creativity down if I don't want it to creatively enhance that much. Here's another example where it's upscaling. So the textures here on this image. If I want it to be able to upscale this granite, you can kind of see it's done that. Adds a little bit more texture detail. Definitely telling the fruit there. Here's one with just the lighting example. So you can see here a little bit more shine in the lights, better details outside the windows here of the city, better details on the pillows, definitely on the blanket before and after as well. So you can upscale all those images. Once you've gone, I won't go through all these upscales, but once I've gone through all the upscales, then what I can do is actually see, here's one. Actually, one last thing that I forgot to show you is my last image up here. I wanted to actually add a light. So you can see here I combine my picture of the picture light, and then I'm putting that above my light here in my image. So you can see here, and it even puts in lighting and shadows, which is really awesome. And then I've upscaled that down here just to make it look a little bit better and really pop. So here's my upscale. Changes the picture just a little bit. So you could take that down if you want to. I actually like the upscaled version. Got a little bit of mist on the lake here. Looks really good. And once I have that kind of all staged out, then I can actually create videos from this as sort of visual storytelling. And so in this particular image example, I'm just using a start frame and doing sort of a first person view walking slowly into this luxury apartment. And you can see here's kind of what it's doing. Sort of just walking through towards the window. If I want to prompt in sound, you can see here that you can actually generate sound. So in this one, I actually have where, I'm bold music plays in the background. And with this particular model, it allows you to generate up to 8 seconds. There's no optionality with anything longer than that with Veo. and then you can choose between 720p, 1080p, and then a 9 by 16 or 16 by 9. I wanted to see what Kling 2.6 Pro would do with a very similar prompt. This one allows you to add audio as well. You can change from 5 to 10-second videos, and then you have these different options for video sizes as far as aspect ratio. And this one has start frame. The nice thing about Google and some of the other models, a lot of the models we have, Kling has some versions of this too. You have start frame and end frame. So if you had somebody kind of walking into a space and turning, the AI won't hallucinate because you could have them walking in with your initial frame, and then when they turn, you could have the next frame, next view of the room kind of turn naturally into the next frame, and it stitches those together really, really nicely. And so here's a first frame of Kling 2.6 Pro. I didn't generate audio on this one, but it's just, I wanted to see kind of how this model compared with Theo. It did a pretty good job. And then the last one was this. I like to use Cdance when I'm doing sort of more like special effects. And so this one also has start frame, end frame. So in this one, I've kind of started with, you can see here, I've started with a watercolor image transforms into a photographic I should have said a photorealistic render of a luxury apartment penthouse suite. And I'm starting with my watercolor and ending with something that is more photorealistic. And you can see here, it kind of just walks through the window and transforms into this new space, but kind of a cool visual effect. You can see here, it just slides in. And you can stitch these together with DaVinci or CapCut, so you have a full video and put them in a soundtrack for your client presentation. Those are things that work quite well. Here's another example, but this one has sound, I think. Actually, it doesn't have sound. But this is just where things are sort of iteratively, again, it's going to go through a window, kind of drag things down. And here's my final rendered image. I could have made some different prompts and had things change, but hope you enjoyed that. That's a really, again, this is a really great example of where you can take different elements of your interiors, fixtures, different flooring, granite countertop examples, and put them into a space, but really hold the geometry of that space without changing it. So again, really, really great for interior designers, for realtors, if they're wanting to do virtual staging of a property they're selling. This is the workflow that you want to check out. Thanks very much. Have a good day.